Good day. Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Monday, July 19, 2021. Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III refused to recognize the new set of Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban officers elected last Saturday as the fight between rival factions in the party continued to heat up. The election was held during a party meeting called by the group led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. Cusi was elected president of the party, ousting Senator Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao. Pimentel, Pacquiao's ally, was unseated as executive vice chairman. Pala spokesman Harry Roque Jr. sees the row reaching the Supreme Court, since President Rodrigo Duterte, PDP Laban's chairman, wants the dispute settled legally. Roque said Cusi's camp may bring the dispute to the Commission on Elections. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III on Sunday said he is willing to take on the challenge of heading a key and influential body of the International Labor Organization. The Philippines assumed for the first time the chairmanship of the ILO's powerful government group. The ILO is the global labor standard-setting organization, which is based in Geneva, Switzerland. Labor attaché Cheryl Daitek, who heads the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in Switzerland, said the country's assumption as chairman of the government group gives us a primus position among ILO member states. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian has vowed to pass a law criminalizing abusive debt collection practices by some online lending platforms. Gatchalian on Sunday warned financial service providers against continuing with their illegal acts. The rising number of complaints from consumers against online lending or loan sharks amid the pandemic was quite worrying, Gatchalian said. The vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies deplored loan sharks and other financial scammers who are aware they are not covered by financial regulators. He recently filed Senate Bill 2287, or the proposed Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act, which prohibits financial service providers from using abusive collective or debt recovery practices. Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo called on the public and concerned agencies to be vigilant against COVID-19 following the confirmation of local cases of the Delta variant. Go made the appeal after the Department of Health reported the presence of local cases of the more contagious Delta variant. He said concerned government authorities must build up the country's response to the pandemic. Delta has resulted in an increase in COVID-19 cases in neighboring Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia. President Rodrigo Duterte's chief presidential legal counsel Salvador Panelo said organized troll farms are being operated by trolls who are against the administration. He made the statement after at least 12 senators filed a resolution seeking an investigation into allegations public funds are being used for the operation of troll farms. In business, the Department of Finance said despite the strengthening of the US dollar, the Philippine peso has emerged as one of Asia's more stable currencies in the first 5 months of this year. The DOF reported in its most recent economic bulletin released over the weekend that the volatility, as estimated by the coefficient of variation, of the peso-dollar rate for the month of June increased to 0.94 from the 0.82 registered in May. In sports, Rio Olympics silver medalist and weightlifter Heidelin Diaz, as well as other Filipino Olympians in weightlifter Elrin Ando, taekwondo jin Kurt Barbosa, rifle shooter Jason Valdez, and swimmers Luke Gebbie and Remedy Rule are expected to arrive in Tokyo on Sunday. The quintet will compete in the Olympics slated from July 23 to August 8 as they followed boxers Yumir Marshall, Carlo Paalam, Nesty Petesio, and Irish Magno, as well as rower Chris Nievarez, who all landed in Tokyo on Saturday. Diaz arrived in Tokyo from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Ando, Barbosa, and Valdez from Manila, Rule from Texas, and Gebbie from Melbourne in Australia. Rigoberto Tiglao and Father Ranilio Aquino are today's front page columnists. Tiglao wants the brother of former Transportation Secretary Joseph Emilio Abaya to explain the mechanism they used on the West Philippine Sea, while Father Aquino discusses cleaning his own room. Today's editorial discusses the recent Times Creative Forum and that creative industries could boost economic recovery. Read a full version on the paper's opinion section or listen to the voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and keep up with the Times. On behalf of the Manila Times, this is Arik John Sequo reporting. Have a safe week ahead.